So first they started off by showing me Canelo versus Crawford. Who y'all got? I would say Canelo's probably the overdog, which is why his stuff costs more to put more behind him. But anyway, the thing about today is I left the day red, but I'm so happy that I stopped a loss. I lost on PLRZ and I used most of my total buying power and my portfolio fell under $300. Let's look at this. This is actually it rebranded as Ping An Biomedical. And the thing about it is it was actually a textile company. I didn't realize that until I saw one of the comments here, and then that intrigued me to look at Robinhood to actually see the information. Because the information about companies is more accurate and just the user interface is better on Robinhood than it is on Webull. I slide over to the company section and it's just it's very confusing. And I can't even see the country when I look up companies here on Webull. But yeah, my buying power fell under $300, but I brought my portfolio back up a little bit by being green on COCP. And something I started doing September 11th yesterday was being extremely strict about abiding by stop losses. On when I was red on PLRZ, I could have gotten out if it did not work. This is what I was doing. Yesterday, I made that video about after hours, but these were the ones I was watching today. And I see why these people were staying out of this one. Majestic Ideals, or whichever, I forgot the name. Majestic Ideal Holdings, and you'll see it right there. But yeah, something I started on September 11th was being really strict because I made great money on Tuesday, pretty much by pure luck because something squeezed at the very end of the day. And then I lost all of Tuesday's gains on Wednesday by holding on to a loser all day. So I'm red on the week, even with this super hot market. But I'm so happy I'm cutting losses now. And I'm like, is this me? Because, yeah. We're moving on. So one thing I found particularly interesting was, just the action from this week. And yeah, very, very strange. There were stocks that I was green on earlier this week. I would see other people still holding on to it, talking about how it's going to come back up, and this would be like later in the day, approaching market close. And they were emotionally tied and married to a stock that was basically dying. And I was saying to myself, sometimes you just gotta. This setup was perfect. This is what. Not perfect. Well, this is a good sign. The bottoming tail and the small red volume, and it's above MACD. Well, it was around that area. At this point I was in. See, I could have sold right there as soon as it didn't work out, as soon as it started coming back down, and I would have been green right here if I sold. But I was waiting for a 2-to-1 profit to loss ratio. And I think one thing I can tweak is I'm just going to start selling stuff if it doesn't immediately resolve, if it doesn't continue upwards. So yeah, that's great. And I'm going to make sure to write that down as well. And 1.32 is my stop loss. But yeah, sometimes you just gotta place your hand on someone's shoulder when they're determined to hold on to something, and you just gotta be like, bud. It's like you're consoling someone who lost a loved one. You just gotta tell them, look, bud, just cut the loss, just pull the plug. It's not coming back up. And on Uoka, I couldn't find any news, so I walked away from it. I started day trading on March 3rd. And September 10th was my last day holding on to a loser recklessly. It's been 6 months and a week. So yeah, I told myself never again. And that's where I was on PLRZ. And yeah. If you look at the stocks I dealt with today, the one I was red on continued to go lower later in the day, this PLRZ. And the one I was green on, where I just decided to take profit when it became choppy. So COCP, there's my stop loss right there. You're going to see on COCP, I decided to take a loss, and I'm going to show you guys where I took, well, on COCP, I took profit. You're going to see where I took profit, and that was when it started to come back down, and the movement was just weird. And the stock I was green on ended up going down anyway. Some of it was driven by FOMO, fear of missing out. That's how I got into this stock. This is what I saw before I got into it. And I saw the news and stuff. I didn't really want to chase it, but rather I decided to just wait for a pullback. That way I have a definitive stop loss. But when it became choppy, that's when I took profit. So I was not going to hold out for it to go up 1,000% or something, because that's greed. My goal now is if something is below VWAP, I'm not even looking at it. Well, I'm not even considering buying it. Can you win on a Chinese stock sometimes? Yes, as well as Taiwan, Singapore, and Hong Kong. Can you win on a stock that has no news but still checks all the other boxes? Yes, but that would be B quality. And you see how I brought it back up over $300. Also, something I've never done in the past 6 months is to have a definitive formula for the halfway point of the leg up on the 1 minute timer or 5 minute timer. And you're going to see right here, there was a point where I took a nap after I finished both of those trades. Yeah, but that's where I got out right there when it activated my stop loss. No matter what, you got to leave. And that's something I've never been able to do with success. I always hold on to a loser at some point every week. And I can't get that thing to go to 350. But yeah, it squeezed all the way up. Then it started coming back down. Yeah, I have to stop saying I could have done this, I should have done this. And also, don't look at other stocks that squeezed up way higher and saying, oh, I should have dealt with that stock, right? Because that's going to make people leave. And this is why we cut losses, people. Like, see how it keeps going down even after market open. And the stock I was green on, you're going to see that as well. See, this is the one I was green on. And look, went all the way back down, went all the way down there. Pretty much gave back its whole move, I think. What's the percentage? Up 13%. And I already got out on my squeeze. That right there. But yeah, for example, if a stock squeezes from $1 to $2 before doing a pullback, the way you would find it is like, okay, top of leg up minus bottom, difference divided by 2, quotient plus bottom. I really don't like math. I just use math to do shortcuts. And I'm really a lot better with words. That's why even mathematicians will forget the word quotient. So I know the answer to a addition problem is the sum. Answer to a subtraction problem is difference. Answer to a multiplication problem is the product. And the answer to a division problem is the quotient. So the way you would find a halfway point, if a stock squeezes from $1 to $2 before doing a pullback, it has to stay over the halfway point in order for me to look at it. So the formula you would plug in is 2 minus 1 equals 1. And then 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. And 0.5 plus 1 is 1.5. And then the halfway point is 1.5. And just plug that formula. Even if something squeezes from $4.53 up to $5.16. As long as it has news, long as it's the right price range, which that's the right price range, long as it's up over 10%. What's the other one? As long as it has 5x relative volume. And what's the other one? There's one more. There's one more. Percent, price, and low float. Yes.